You look like $1,000,000, buddy.
Thank you. Because I feel like about $3.76. It could be worse.
Well, I think we're gonna pep you up with today's band. You ready to do the show?
I'm gonna pep you up.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Bands you've heard of.
Hello and welcome to Bands You've Never Heard of. I'm JR.
And I'm Gary.
And we are back to the normal thing where I introduce Gary to a band. So it was fun letting you introduce me to a band, but I gotta say, doing the research, reaching out to the band, preparing the questions, jamming to some incredible music. It's been an incredible past 2 weeks of listening to this band and thinking about how I'm going to reveal them to you, and I am so excited.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of like my side of things too.
Yeah, let's not mess with the good thing. Although if you have a band, if you have another band, bring it. I'm not saying don't bring it.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I will.
This is the show.
That's not gonna. That's not gonna be the norm because
Okay.
I like this. I like this part because I riff. You know, that's
Yeah.
my whole thing, and I was totally unprepared. So.
Okay, well, we got to jump right into it because there's so much I want to play for you and tell you about this band that we are not going to have time because we are preparing to interview this band right after I am done introducing Gary to this band. So please stay tuned for the second half of the show where we will bring the band in on a Zoom call and just prod them with dumb questions about their music. Hopefully they're smart questions.
Oh, we've never had dumb questions. We always have.
I make sure to ask at least
well-thought-out.
one dumb question every show. But that's the real show here is the interview with the band. This first part is where we all get to know them as well as
Yeah.
I know them. And if you're listening to this, please know that you can watch this on YouTube, on Spotify, and it's audio only everywhere else you get your podcasts. We do our
but
best.
soon to be video on Apple.
Yeah,
on
I'm
Apple Podcast.
waiting for details on how that happens. Am I going to have to upload each episode 3 times now? Because one to YouTube, one to Spotify, which feeds all the other podcast platforms. Is Apple going to make me upload a separate video feed to them? I don't know.
I'm virtually certain they will.
Yeah, I can't imagine them doing it any other way. But yeah, we're excited. So if you're listening to this, maybe go check it out and watch it. We do strive hard to make it equally enjoyable as simply a listening experience, but there is stuff to see in case you didn't know that. So
like our awesome backgrounds.
that's right. Also, more information on every band we feature on the show over at bindhopod.com. You can email us, bindhopod@gmail.com, and we keep a running playlist on Spotify of every song from every band we've ever featured on this show on Spotify. So just go search for bands you've never heard of, follow the podcast, subscribe to it, whatever your podcast player lets you do, and go check out the playlist. All right, I'm ready to introduce you to the band, Gary. Are you ready?
I'm ready to meet the band. Let's do it.
All right, I am going to start by showing you their logo, which is on their website.
Ooh.
There it is. Say the name out loud, Gary.
Blackbeard's Tea Party.
That's the name of the band. And I love your preconceptions on how they might sound based simply on their name. And I got a feeling this band's name might more clearly portray what they're going to sound like than any other band name we've had yet. Because whatever you're thinking, it's probably pretty close. Tell me what you're thinking.
Well, obviously the first thing is pirate rock.
Pirate rock. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I think. Yeah. So before we get into who they are and what they sound like, I want to tell you how I found this band because it's yet another unique way of finding a band. I didn't just go digging on Spotify for them. I follow all of the bands that we hook up with on this show on social media. And White Noise is a band we featured last year from I found them in Edinburgh, Scotland. They're actually from Glasgow. But they are a family band playing traditional folk music along with a bunch of originals. They are amazing. I met them in person. We interviewed them on Zoom. One of my favorite episodes. And I just saw 2 weeks ago their Instagram post. Do you follow that band, White Noise, on Instagram? Are you seeing their posts
Yeah,
as well?
I do, but I need to work on Instagram a lot more. I'm not on it every day like I am on Facebook and Twitter and Threads and Blue
You're
Sky.
still on
So
Twitter?
not Twitter, TikTok.
Oh, okay.
No, I never really was on Twitter,
Man,
but
fuck Twitter, man. Come on.
yeah.
Good. So, White Noise posted a promotional post about a show that they were doing where they were going to be opening for Blackbeard's Tea Party at a venue called Sneaky Pete's in Edinburgh. I walked by Sneaky Pete's many times when I was there. I didn't go in. I'm going to go in next time. This place looks like a pretty amazing venue, but I thought, White Noise, a band we've featured, opening for another band. I wonder if this other band fits our show. And sure enough, they do. As you can see on Spotify, I've got their Spotify profile pulled up now. Their most played song is just under 90,000, and it's this song right here, Chicken on a Raft, at 89,311. And so they fit the show. And then I was like, well, are they any good? And then I started listening, and I knew immediately I wanted them on the show. I went and checked their YouTube. They've got a bunch of videos, but none of those are over 100,000 either. So they fully meet all of the criteria of the show. They're fun, they rock, and better yet, the best thing about them is they agreed to be on our show.
No, the best thing about them is they have accordion.
Or as they refer to it as a melodeon. Is that different from an accordion?
Yeah, I thought the melodeon was the harmonica with keys.
No, that's a melodica.
No.
That's a melodica.
Melodica, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
This is a melodeon.
Yeah, it's a melodeon. Okay, yeah.
So that's Stuart.
Yes, it's a very similar instrument.
Yeah, so that's Stuart Giddens you're seeing on the right. He's the front man on the band and the melodeon player. On the far left in this picture you're seeing here is Laura Boston Barber. She plays the fiddle. David Boston is the guy in the middle. He plays the drums. Patty Lester Rourke, the guy with the shades on, he plays the bass. And Benjamin Trott plays the guitar. And
So it's a Scottish band that has a guy named Paddy.
they're not Scottish. They're from
They're
York.
not.
They're from York, England,
York.
not far from Sheffield. Do you know what famous movie took place in Sheffield?
I was just saying we had a band from Sheffield, didn't we?
No, that was Lancashire. That was
Lancashire.
That was
Okay.
Geese out of Lancashire. You're confusing our UK bands. We've had several.
My geography is right on top of things. I mean,
And I know back on the old show, we did feature Intruder 434 or the Shangri-Las. And one or two of those bands was from the UK, but we haven't resurfaced those on this show yet. They might have been from Sheffield. I don't remember. But the Full Monty, remember the movie The Full Monty? That took place in Sheffield. Yeah. All right. So you've pretty closely guessed what this band is going to sound like. But I want to take you on a little journey.
Well, we need the bio first.
Nope. No, you're not getting the black
Ooh,
first.
oh, you're
You
just
are.
twisting it all up on me.
That's right. I've got a plan, buddy. Because their most played song, as I mentioned, is Chicken on a Raft. You might even notice, if you're looking at their top 10 here on Spotify, that Chicken on a Raft is on this list twice. It comes in at number 1 and it comes in at number 10, both of them between 80 and 90,000 plays each.
Wow.
And it is two different versions of the same song. But I'm not going to play you their version first. Here's what we're going to do. This is one of the songs that they play that is not an original song of theirs. They didn't pen this song. They play a lot of traditional folk tunes and more recent, more modern folk tunes as well. And this song is originally by a guy named Cyril Tawney. Have you ever heard of that guy? Does that name ring any bells for you?
Zero bells.
Didn't ring any bells for me either. But it's also his number one song on Spotify, Chicken on a Raft. The short version is Cyril Tawney was in the Navy in World War II. So Navy on submarines, and was also a folk musician. Came out of the Navy, got out of the Navy completely, and went to be a full-time folk guitar singer songwriter guy. Even got to where he was a broadcaster. So he's kind of a big deal in England, and he passed away in the early 2000s. But Chicken on a Raft was one of his songs written from his experience on naval ships and submarines. And I'll give you $1 if you can tell me what a chicken on a raft is. What's that a reference to?
I was going to say it's kind of like shit on a shingle, or it's a dish that they would eat. I mean,
That's exactly right. What the hell? How did you do that?
I'm old as fuck.
Chicken on a raft refers to poached egg on toast that has gotten cold and is congealed. So it's like the thing you eat for breakfast the next morning after it's been left out, and it's not great.
Boy.
Yeah. So what I want to do is play you a little bit of Cyril Tawney's version of Chicken on a Raft, so you can see the original version of the song and what his song sounded like. And then we're going to go hear Blackbeard Tea Party, their first version of the song, which was on their first album, and then their more modern version of the song, so you can hear the evolution of what's going on here. All right, so we're not going to hear the whole thing, maybe a verse and a chorus for Chicken on a Raft by Cyril Tawney.
Skippers in the wardroom drinking gin, hey-oh. Chicken on a raft, I don't mind knocking, but I ain't going in, hey-oh. Chicken on a raft, Jimmy's laughing like a drain, hey-oh. Chicken on a raft, been looking at me comic cuts again, hey-oh. Chicken on a raft, hey, chicken on a raft on a Monday morning, oh, what a terrible sight to see. The dab toes forward and the dustman aft. Sitting there picking at a chicken on a raft. Eh?
There you go. That's the original Chicken on a Raft by the guy who wrote it.
And that's almost exactly the way I had pictured
this band sounding.
No, him or that song, the song sounding.
Perfect. Good. So we're going to go to fast forward to Blackbeard's Tea Party's debut album, which is called Heavens to Betsy. Is it on that album? Maybe it's on their second album. Yeah, there you go. It's the last song on their second album, Tomorrow Will Be Sober. Yes. And so we're going to hear their early version. And that album came out in 2011.
Wow. So, they've been around a bit.
Yeah, they have definitely been around for about 17 years now. And this is their original, or their first version of Chicken on a Raft. Again, we're not going to listen to the entire thing. You'll get the gist after about the same amount of time. We will listen to and watch the video for their more modern take on this song. Chicken on a Raft, the first version by Blackbeard's Tea Party.
Skippers in the wardroom drinking gin. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. I don't mind knocking, but I ain't going in. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Jimmy's laughing like a drain. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Been looking at me comic cuts again. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Tap toes forward and the dustman's out. Sitting there picking at a chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Whoa ho, chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Whoa ho, chicken on a raft. Hey, the middle and the...
All right, that's enough. You got the idea. What do you think so far?
I'm loving it.
Yeah?
I'm loving it. Yeah. Even then they kind of combine some, I don't know exactly what it is that is distorted, but something distorted
okay
to modernize it, but with several traditional old UK instrumentation. That's a sounds like a bodhran.
They were
And
using a cajon
okay,
in
so it was
there.
like a
Yep.
uh-huh.
They might have been using some other hand percussion,
Yeah.
more on their percussion story in a little bit. But suffice it to say that, well, maybe more on their percussion story now. They because we're going to get into it right around this album called Reprobates in 2016. They completely switched from just hand percussion to drums. And
Okay, so that was all hand percussion. Okay.
yes, it was. And not just drums, two full drum sets on stage in recording. And I don't think they do that anymore. Everything more I've seen from them recently, it's one drummer, but at least at some point they had two drummers. And maybe during this song, maybe not. I don't know. I don't remember. But we're not going to listen to it on Spotify. We're going to watch the video, because this will give you an idea of just how much fun these guys are having playing these songs. And here we go. Blackbeard's Tea Party, Chicken on a Raft, the official video on YouTube.
The skipper's in the wardroom drinking gin. I don't mind knocking, but I ain't going in. The Jimmy's laughing like a drain. He's looking at me comic cuts again. A chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Dump toes forward and the dustman's off. Sitting there picking that chicken on a raft. I am a little girl in Tawney. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Did she make a fool of me? Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Her heart was like a pussy shower. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Blew hot to cold in quarter of an hour. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Duck toes forward in the dustman's arm. Sitting there picking that chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, chicken on a raft. We said goodbye on a midnight bus. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. She did not cry, she made no fuss. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. My man that she loves best. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Just to cook you in another bird's nest. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Duck toes forward in the dustman's arm. Sitting there picking that chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, chicken on a raft. There's an Amazon girl lives in Dumfries. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. She has her kids in 2s and 3s. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. She's got a sister in Mary Hill. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Who says she won't, but I think she will. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Chicken on a raft on a Monday morning. Oh, what a terrible sight to see. Tap toes forward in the dustman's arm. Sitting there picking that chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, chicken on a raft. Hey ho, chicken on a raft. Oh, chicken on a raft.
Your thoughts, Gary?
They really need to let loose a little bit.
Yeah, they're so stuffy and tight.
So just so you can tell that they just have no fun whatsoever. I mean, it reminds me of the great line from Batman Returns. It's like, why so serious?
Why so serious?
No, that was awesome. Oh, to party with those guys.
Excellent, because that's exactly what I want to do. I am hoping that they have some kind of plan to go to the Fringe Festival this year, and that I do get to go see them and party with them live, because they look like a lot of fun. Speaking of live, that's where we're going next. We are going to watch this video right here. Jim Jones is the name of the song. It'll be live, a live YouTube video recorded at the Crescent just 3 years ago. Let's go find out more about the song Jim Jones. It's on this album, Kick the Curb, that came out in 2022. So a more recent album, which is, I listened to this entire album while working out the other day. My cardiologist wouldn't be happy with how high my heart rate got and how much I kept it there, because every song is just more amped up and fun than the one before. It's just amazing, and I loved it. So, but it's one of the songs on this album. It's right here. So we're going to watch him play Jim Jones live at the Crescent in 2023. This is Blackbeard's Tea Party.
Listen to my story, listen to my tale. Across the sea from England, I was condemned to sail. A jury found me guilty, the judge said to me, for life I have sending you across the sea. But take a little warning before you join the gang. One day you're gonna met a boy, and then you're gonna have one day you're gonna have a boy, and then Jim Jones, well upon the gallows, the clothes will be wrong. I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to be there. The seas were high upon the seas when pirates came along.
So I'm actually going to stop it there in the interest of being able to play more of their songs. I think you get a feel for Jim Jones and what this song is all about and what they look and sound like live. Interested in your reaction to that.
Really into the helmet.
This
Love
the
the helmet.
the Mirrorball helmet.
Yeah, their instrumentation is fantastic, and they're getting this distortion from something. I guess it's because I love, what I love the most is these old traditional songs on 11 and the but they're scores. They started out using all traditional instruments, what appeared to be all traditional instruments, and still bringing this distortion in. And even there, it was very, there was a lot airier than I was expecting live, because a lot of times live it's like, completely over the top. Yet, very airy, except still with that glorious distortion.
Cool. Well, we're going to finish with two songs, two in their entirety, that I am 100% confident are originally penned songs by Blackbeard's Tea Party. And just to prove that, we'll go check here just to be sure. The first song I'm going to play you is called I Am People. And according to the credits here, written and arranged by Stuart Giddens, Dave Boston, Benjamin Trott, Laura Boston Barber, and Patty Lester Rourke. So this is theirs, 100%. And they've got a video for it. And it's a lot of fun. And the song is called I Am People by Blackbeard's Tea Party.
People of this country, I've had enough You know that I am people. I am people too. I am people too. I don't think like you. I don't think like you. We are people, you don't speak for me. You know that I am people. I am people too. I am people too. I am not like you. I am not like you. We are people, you don't speak for me. You know that I am people. People of this country have had just about enough of the Guardian reading, tofu eating, woke karate, and people know that what we call a spade is a spade is a spade. People won't be cowed, people have sent a clear message, people can make up their own minds. Now people have moved on, yeah, people have moved on, but I haven't moved on, and still, you know that I am people.
I Am People by Blackbeard's Tea Party. Your thoughts on their first original song that you have heard?
They are insanely inventive, and I love that. That song, okay, so bear with me just a little bit. And
Okay.
I know I am partially affected by the visual, but to me that was traditional. Still had that traditional element, but filtered through Devo.
Devo, interesting.
Yeah, because of the breaks and of
Yeah.
course, some of the visuals were very Devo-esque.
Yeah,
But
with like
because
that, like
of the breaks
pink
and
suit.
some of the things, and then the signage, that was thing. The part I loved the best about the signage was when they would go I am, and then the whoever had the people one, it was purple, it was peephole, it was peepers, it was but sonically, to me, if I had my eyes closed, I would go, dude, these guys are playing a derivation of Devo, playing a derivation of traditional island, British island music. And that was just, to me, that was just kind of bought the whole thing right there. So
Yes, excellent. I wrote down a couple bands. I wrote down that this band to me feels like Woody Guthrie meets the Squirrel Nut Zippers meets the Dropkick Murphys meets Gogol Bordello for a pint in Sheffield. Right?
yeah, that you nailed it right there.
Yeah, I'm hearing bits of all of those in their stuff. And there's so many more songs that they've put out. It's like 5 or 6 albums. And some of them are very poignant and less slapstick and fun and more like, oh shit, that's actually important that people should hear that kind of songs.
Yeah.
So I think Woody Guthrie would be proud to hear this.
I think
band.
so, yeah.
I think the Dropkick Murphys would like the comparison because these guys definitely represent the people, the blue collar worker, way more than they represent the elite.
Oh, absolutely. But also, I think they got some of their. I'm not sure. All their videos look fairly DIY, if not 100% DIY. But it seems to me like they got their video chops by looking at OK Go. Or the opposite. They might have preceded. Maybe OK Go got their ideas from these guys. Who knows? But they share a lot of that a lot of commonality in style of video and how well it is perceived and executed with OK Go. So
this one here, we're not going to listen to it, but Roll and Go, that's a fun video. They're like having like an Alice in Wonderland type tea party out in a field. Everybody dressed in these very colorful suits with cool facial makeup and hair, wigs and everything. And then they all just start hitting each other in the face with cream pies. And it's amazing. It's a ton of fun to watch, but we don't have time. We're going to be interviewing Blackbeard's tea party here in about 15 minutes. So we've got to get to the finale of part 1 of this episode, and that would be this song called England Bound. And I want to read you a little bit about what it's about from Stuart Giddens. Here's what he says about this. He says, we're satirizing British culture wars here and quoting Love Island's Molly May Hague along the way. England Bound was written by Stuart. I play English folk music, and I even do Morris dancing. Indulging in those English traditions makes me think a lot about how I feel to be English and British. When I was a teenager, I'd have told you how proud I felt to be British. I felt proud of our multiculturalism and tolerance and our institutions like the NHS and the BBC. But with Brexit, the refugee crisis, Windrush, Grenfell, the pandemic, the cost of living crisis, the debate around trans identities, political discourse has become so toxic, and my relationship to my country feels more strained. So this song explores how conflicted I feel about being English.
This sounds familiar. I've felt that somewhere before.
I know. That's what I've got written down to ask them about that, because I think there's a lot of Americans who might feel conflicted about being American right now. So, but yeah, you ready?
I am ready.
All right. This is England Bound by Blackbeard's Tea Party.
As our boat crashes into the white cliffs of Dover, Canute's on the cliff top, his arms open wide. With one hand, he's waving a Union flag. With the other, he's trying to hold back the RNLI. So this is England, ruler of waves. Oh, this is England, spend and never save. Over ready deals, free school meals. Rule Britannia, I know you love that sound. Executive powers, 0 hours. Think tanks, food banks, honey. We're England bound. Poor, I'm poor. Well, that's what you said. But have you ever tried just being rich instead? Poor, I'm poor. Well, that's what you say. But you know we all have the exact same hours in a day. Okay. Oven ready deals, free school meals. Rule Britannia, you know I love that sound. Executive just laughed. You know that you're welcome to it. When you told me you wanted your country back, I just laughed. You're welcome to it. When you told me you wanted your country back, I just laughed. Oh, I shouldn't have laughed. Should I have ready meals, preschool meals? Oh, Britannia, you know I love that sound. Oh, executive powers, 0 hours. Think tanks, food banks, honey. We're England bound. Oh, ready deals, preschool meals. Britannia, you know I love that sound. Oh, executive powers, 0 hours. Think tanks, food banks, honey. England bound.
I fucking love that song.
Now I really heard the Gogol Bordello there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like Gogol Bordello meets the Clash, and some parlor music.
Yeah.
alongside,
I want to go to a festival where I can see the Dropkick Murphys, Gogol Bordello, the Squirrel Nut Zippers, and Blackbeard's Tea Party. With White Noise opening up, right? Like
With White Noise opening up.
Yes. God, it's freaking great. We are quickly running out of time. I want to take you through a couple other things you should know about this band, Gary. In my opinion, this is the best band website I've seen yet in doing this show. They check every single box. They've got a great about page, and you can meet each individual member of the band. There's a whole bio for each one, and it's clickable and it looks good. There's the tour here. If you go to the promo, that's where I got the logo from earlier. They've got like downloadable logos and posters and stuff. They make it easy for venues to book them without having to put in a lot of work creating the promo for it. They've got a blog where they talk about the stuff that they sell and the tours that they're going on and the albums they're putting out. And if you see down at the bottom here, they've got a press page, they've got a shop. You can go buy merch and albums, and there's a page about cheesecake, which is exactly what it says. It's a page about how much they love cheesecake, which is, I think that's great. But
I want to join them too.
yeah, and look at this up here in the top right hand corner, links to the socials. Book them for a Kaylee, which is like a little dinner party, wedding type event where people get together and play music. They got a newsletter. It's just a really, really well done website. Listen to their songs, watch their videos. Any thoughts on their website?
It's beautiful.
It's great,
And
right?
and it just gave me ideas for our websites.
Nice.
So,
I was looking forward to revealing their website to you almost as much as I was their music, because it's really, really well done. They've got a great Instagram, videos, posters. I even gleaned a question that I want to ask them based on one of their Instagram posts today, but you can catch them just playing folk music live in Edinburgh, like stuff like that. It's great Instagram. You've seen their YouTube. It's just a well-rounded band. I don't understand, like, all of the pieces of the puzzle are here. Why are they not humongous? They have played a bunch of festivals.
They do play a niche type. I mean, that music is not for everybody. I can't imagine, teenagers that are listening to the latest pop star going, "Oh, I want to go and listen to this pirate rock."
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to appeal to a certain number of people and a certain people, that like that type of music, the updated versions of, basically it's updated versions of old sea shanties, with some Gogol Bordello, Devo, and maybe even a little bit of Might Be Giants, more in the stage show mixed in. I mean, this is definitely. I think this is definitely more adult music than. I mean, no more than the other bands that we've done, but more adult music than say 21 Pilots or Paramore or something like that. And that's where the big. I think that's the only thing that's keeping them under the thing. Of course, once this is out and then they're allowed to go out and really promote it, they will hit they will quickly go over the top with their
millions and millions of people will know about them soon. Here's how we're going to transition from part 1 to part 2. I just realized I hadn't actually read you their bio yet. So I'm going to read you their bio. Now, they do a bunch of instrumental songs. Early on, it was a lot of instrumental. There's stuff on the new album as well. In fact, one of their most played songs is an instrumental that is probably what I'm going to lay down for you. It's probably what's playing right now because that's what we're going to talk over this and then I'll let it transition us. But I think it's the Hangman's Noose. That's the one. That's the one I want to play for you. That's probably what you're hearing right now. And here's the bio for Blackbeard's Tea Party. Blackbeard's Tea Party have been playing folk rock together for over 16 years. The band started out busking on the streets, but Blackbeard's Tea Party are now more likely to be found on a festival stage, art center, or rock venue. Theirs is a well-known name amongst festival goers, having played at events as diverse as Glastonbury, Cambridge Folk Festival, Fairport's Crop Ready Convention, the Rainforest World Music Festival in Borneo, Folk East Towersey Festival, and many more. Traditional songs and tunes are given a rock edge with heavy riffs, playful arrangements, and driving dance rhythms. Blackbeard's Tea Party believe a live show should be a spectacle for the eyes as well as the ears. Outlandish outfits, DIY props, unhinged stage antics, and chaotic choreography all add to an engaging, high-octane show that frequently leaves audiences cheering for more. I'm in.
Outlandish outfits.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy the rest of Hangman's Noose, and we'll be back in just a moment with Blackbeard's Tea Party. I've been listening to your songs nonstop for like 2 weeks, and I can't remember which song it was because I'm usually like working out or driving when I'm listening. But there's at least one Zoom call mention in one of the songs. There's Stuart admitting him into the room now.
Hello.
Missed you.
All right, we've got almost the entirety of Blackbeard's Tea Party joining us here on Bands You've Never Heard Of. So welcome to Laura, David, Patty, and Stuart. We're missing, from what I hear, a slightly ill guitar player. So we're 4/5 of the way there, which will take it. Thank you all for being here. So Blackbeard's Tea Party, welcome to the show. I found you guys by following another band on Instagram called White Noise, who listeners, viewers of our show will know we interviewed them late last year in 2025 after I met them at the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh. And they posted that they were playing with you guys at Sneaky Pete's in Edinburgh, a venue I walked by many times while I was there. So let's start there. Who called who? Did White Noise call you? Did you guys call White Noise? Did Sneaky Pete's call both of you? How did that come to be?
We were working with a new promoter, and we'd never played at Sneaky Pete's before, so it's always good to get a support band from the local area because we don't gig up in Scotland very much at all, to try and encourage new people through the door. So I think the promoter recommended White Noise.
Yeah, so it was Sneaky Pete himself, I think.
Perfect answer. I saw on one of your recent posts that it's hard for English folk rock bands to break into the Scottish scene. You just mentioned you don't gig up there very often. There's probably a ton I do not fully understand about the relationship between Scotland and England. I mean, I've seen Braveheart, so you'd think, I should understand it, but I feel like there's a lot left to the story. But why is it hard for a band like yourselves to break into Scotland? It seems like your music is like for those people. Like, what is up with that?
I think the kind of Celtic folk scene is its own thing, and then the English folk scene is its own thing. And like, there's plenty of English folk festivals, and you don't see loads of Scottish bands at them, apart from the great, like the big, really big, well-known Scottish bands. And like a lot of English bands just don't get invited to the Scottish festivals, so it can be really hard to find a way in with the Scottish scene. It's an interesting one because I think it doesn't really happen in other genres of music, but there's kind of like that separation between the countries. So with folk music, that seems to be
the way you described it is like it's two genres of music. It's in over here it would be like, because we have a huge metal scene, and that's really the only scene there is going on right now. And you go to a metal show and you'll have death metal and doom metal and grunge metal and punk metal and all that. But I could see if they splintered off and it's like, oh no, you're done. You're grunge metal. We can't play with, you because we're doom metal or we're sludge metal. And it could, even though it's so close to from what you do to what they do, it's just it's technically a different genre, I guess. Although I see you guys more as sea shanties than anything. I mean, which seems like that would apply to both cultures.
I think with Scotland, they just have their own like amazing and proud music culture. So I teach violin and piano online. I teach a lot of people in the Hebrides, the outer, the really remote islands. So it's not as easy for them to access music lessons out there. Quite a few of them have, inbuilt into their school day, either accordion or pipe or fiddle lessons. And it's just such an integral part of their culture. So they're all just incredible musicians. They have a really, really solid Scottish tradition that they love to keep alive. And I think that keeps them busy and gigging, it's a really, really proud, rich culture. Whereas we don't have that to that extent in England. We don't get compulsory English folk fiddle lessons at all in this country. So yeah, I think that could have a lot to do with it as well.
That makes sense. Although your fiddle sounds, it doesn't seem to me like it's out of place in Scotland at all.
Oh,
No,
or US, really.
Yeah, well, personally, my fiddle style is a mixture of lots of genres, but mainly American, old-time American. That's a lot of where my personal influences come from. And that's from listening to my stepdad play the five-string banjo at home growing up. Got into old-time music.
Are you a big Charlie Daniels fan?
Oh, no. But I should be.
Isn't Charlie Daniels The Devil Went Down to Georgia?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
one of the most famous fiddlers.
I've played that cover many a time. In fact, in this band.
I would have been shocked if you hadn't.
Well,
our version is The Devil Came Down to Yorkshire. And I do it in my thickest Yorkshire accent.
This is a question I did not have on my list, but what's more fun to play in that song, the devil side or Johnny's side? Which fiddle solo is more fun to play?
Oh, it depends. It depends on which mood.
Depends on the night.
Yeah, but Stuart's slight re-scripting of that song was absolute genius, and we don't play covers. Obviously, we play lots of rearranged English folk songs, but covers we never really do. But that was definitely one that slipped through into our festival set one year, and Stuart's lyrics were pretty genius. Just a few tweaks here and there made it very appropriate to where we come from.
That's awesome. The Devil Went Down to Yorkshire. That's fantastic.
So you don't play much in Scotland, but have you considered going outside of England, or have you gone outside of England for tours?
They've gone a little bit outside, right? So Borneo, Spain, stuff like that.
Borneo,
I read that in your bio, but any plans to go more worldwide than that?
I think we'd love to. Yeah, I mean, it's just finding the opportunities. So for like that festival in Borneo, that was a fantastic experience. And the ones in Spain, we haven't really toured outside of England, and well, we went to Scotland this time, which was fantastic. And we were doing a show in Wales as well, but we haven't been like overseas. But we'd love to. I think it's just finding the opportunities to do it.
So as I've become familiar with your stuff, again, I'm just 2 weeks in, so I'm still very much a new fan and figuring a lot of this out. So I got questions, and it seems like you guys have moved more from rearranging traditional folk songs to creating, your own stuff more. Would that be true to say you're doing more original music now on your newer albums than you used to? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, I think we're doing a bit more. I mean, there's always been a real strand of our original stuff, especially like Laura has always written tunes for the band, and like previous members like Tim, who played bass for us previously, he wrote tunes for the band way back when. Paddy's written tunes for the band over the years, so I think there's always been a bit of we write our own stuff, and I've always been quite interested in kind of tweaking folk songs, not just singing them the same way that everybody else does, but putting our own spin on it and changing some of the lyrics if necessary, like rewriting the melody, rewriting the structure of the songs. But I suppose on our most recent album, the songs, there's probably more of my original songs than there ever have been before, in addition to the original tunes. And I guess the songs deal more with the present day. So rather than dealing with the past, which is traditionally what we've done. So I guess that probably makes it seem like they have more of our own perspective behind them. Yeah.
So because you guys weren't here for part one of the show, I introduced Gary. I had to select a few songs to play, and the finale of that part one was I played for him the video for England Bound. So, and I also read off of I forget if it was your website or an interview somewhere where you discussed, what that song is all about for you and your conflicted feelings about England today, right, compared to when you were young and stuff. We were able to relate as Americans.
It's kind of an international feeling right now, I think. But it was enlightening to know that you guys have been feeling it too, and it sounds like it was actually a little bit before us because it started with the Brexit thing, right?
Well, when I was a teenager, when I first started getting kind of interested in politics, I guess, when I was like 17 or 18, I think there was a lot of optimism in this country. It was a boom time, we were quite wealthy, things were quite good. And I just really remember thinking Britain is just an amazing place to be. And there were so many things that I felt were great about this country, the multiculturalism of it, the way that we were very accepting of all kinds of different people and different kinds of cultures, and how we built things on the NHS on that multiculturalism. We celebrated things like Windrush and people coming from what were then the colonies to help us after the war. And I thought, that's so great to be proud, feel like you're proud of your country because of all those things. And then I think maybe as I've grown older and I've become more cynical, and I think as politically the world has changed and our country's changed, I feel a lot more jaded in that view. And I suppose the Brexit referendum kind of put that into perspective. The lyric at the end of the song, you told me you wanted your country back. I just laughed, you're welcome to it. And then I say, I just laughed, I shouldn't have laughed. I was really thinking about the morning of the Brexit referendum and pulling down the poster out of my window that said vote Remain, and how how that seemed like a real moment where it was oh, I feel like I should have done more to fight for this kind of idea of England that I really believed in. It feels very a real difficult time, I'm sure, in both countries, where everything feels so polarized and so divided. And I feel like this idea that I had of an England and a Britain is so different to what other people see. And what other people consider to be their England. I don't know. And that song, in a way, that song still kind of mystifies me. A lot of the lyrics, I'm sometimes I think, what am I trying to get at this song? It's quite complicated, but yeah. And it feels good. I think it feels good to be writing music that talks about the present. There's a big part of that in the folk tradition and the folk idiom in England. Yeah.
Do you write these songs thinking that 100 years from now there's going to be somebody reinterpreting your song into a totally new style of music, and what you're doing to folk songs now is going to happen to your songs down the road?
Yes. Yeah, it seems very arrogant to think like that, and I'm sure it's not true, but I do like to think of myself as being part of a tradition. A lot of the songs that we sing that are traditional, we sing a song called Stand Up Now, which was the kind of anthem of the Diggers, and they were a kind of proto-communist group seizing the land. And I love songs like that because they shed a light on a particular moment of the past, and they help us to understand where we came from and where we are in the present. And I think there's a great tradition of that in the folk tradition of using song to remember these moments in time that are important to our identity. And so, yeah, I like the idea. I do like the idea that, you know, these songs that are about how we lived through the pandemic or what happened in Brexit could potentially survive and shed light for other people on, you know, where we were hundreds of years from now. I'm sure they won't. You know, we're just a funny little niche folk rock band, but you know, my ego likes the idea that they might.
Do you feel a kind of artistic duty to do that, or is it just something for catharsis? Or, I mean, is there? I mean, I guess it's a duty versus catharsis. It would be my question for that, for all of you. I mean, you know, I mean, not only are you're the writer of the song, but does everyone have to agree? Like, okay, we're going to do this song, or is it just come in? I wrote the song. We're going to do it. Let's go. No matter who wrote the song. And if that was so, do you feel a duty to do that?
Well, we wrote, the way we tend to write is quite, especially with the songs, and this includes the traditional stuff as well. Stuart will kind of pitch the song and say a vibe that he's thinking of when he brings it to the band. So there's a certain amount of kind of filtration of stuff that he's proposing or has written that we go through. And I think there's a track on the previous album called In the Bullingdon Club, and it felt like a natural progression to kind of embrace tracks like England Bound and We Are and I Am People and Some of Us on this newer album.
I was going to ask about that. And did somebody say earlier that you guys let your bass player write songs? Is that true?
Well, Paddy plays more than just the bass. Like, Paddy's very talented on all sorts of instruments, and
he's not just a bass player. He's also a musician.
Human.
Not only does he hang out with musicians, he is one.
Yeah.
So Chicken on a Raft is your most played song on Spotify, especially when you combine the old version and is it the 10-year anniversary? Is that the newer version?
Yeah.
I finally figured that out when I was playing the video for Gary and I saw the 10 balloons. I was like, that's why they did that. That makes sense. So looking into that song, you know, I was trying to figure out, okay, is this song an original? Is this song a traditional folk song? I don't know which is which because I'm an ignorant American. But so I figured out that this was an original song by Cyril Tawney, and obviously I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but and where is it? I had a question here. What do you think Cyril Tawney would think if he was to see your video and hear your newer version of that song? Would he be impressed? Would he be would he be incredulous? What do you think he would have thought if he saw you guys dancing around in chicken outfits and such?
Well, we don't know, but we've been in contact with some of Cyril Tawney's relatives, and they tell us that they think he'd love it. You know, and you asked the question earlier about do you like the idea of your songs being around in hundreds of years' time? I think any songwriter, I think most songwriters will be flattered with the idea of any band or musician kind of reinterpreting their song and giving it new life and you know, bringing it to a new audience. So I like to think that he'd be happy with it, and he had a great sense of humor. I've got other songs by Cyril Tawney are very comic. So I like to think that he'd vibe with it.
Awesome. Good.
I mean, something else to say about Cyril Tawney, and you asked about a catharsis versus duty earlier on, and I kind of don't think the two are mutually exclusive. Like, I think I feel like there is a duty behind writing these songs, and there's an amount of catharsis as well. But something I'm interested in is like Cyril Tawney was a working man. He was like working on the Navy boats, and he was one of the last people actually working on boats and singing sea shanties while he worked. So I think that's really an interesting thing to note about him. And then like so many of the people that are singing folk music in England now, they're not working people. Like they're often they've come like straight out of university. They've got enough momentum behind them to be able to start playing folk music, and obviously that's like great. And there's all these really talented musicians, but I think in more recent times we've lost like these people that are actually kind of working people who sing folk songs and who sing about their lives and their songs that reflect their lives. And so you know, we as a band, we all work, we don't do this full time. And so I do feel a kind of duty to be someone that is like singing about my life and like the real concerns that affect my day-to-day life. Yeah, so I feel a duty in continuing that tradition. I don't see many other people in the folk idiom like still doing that, still really talking about their kind of day-to-day lives. I don't think there's loads of people doing that, and so I felt I kind of wanted to try and reintroduce or kind of tap into that vein of that tradition. Yeah.
When you guys are coming up with ideas for videos, are there any ideas that you've come up with that someone in the band goes like, okay, that's just taking it too far, I'm not willing to do that?
Pretty much every video we've done so far. Really? But Stuart's the brainchild behind most of our video concepts, so we trust him to.
Well,
it's going to be great.
There's something really funny about being in this band, and like you're in a dance studio dressed in like a lycra gym outfit, eating a burger, and you're like, and you zoom out for a moment, and you think, what am I doing? And then you're like running along a canal in like a hazmat suit, throwing paint over your friends, and you're like, well, this seems normal. Or you're like in a canal boat graveyard in a pirate suit, and you just have these moments where you zoom out and you think, why how has my life come to this? But yeah,
how did I end here?
Exactly.
So are your videos fully DIY? Because I noticed that a lot of them are you have this thing where you have a static camera and you all do all the work in front of the static camera and then throw in some extra shots, you know, of one and twos of it. Is this everything? Do you guys do everything, or do you have somebody there manning the cameras, or do you have friends that are helping you with that, or is that just you guys?
Some
it's a real blend.
Either way, yeah. I'd say there's a few people that we've worked with. So like England Bound, I think was fully DIY. I don't think anybody else was doing that. So it was me and Stuart in the canal graveyard. And then there was some like Chicken on a Raft. We had a friend who was a fan of the band, who had the whole concept for that. So we turned up at that dance studio and he just told us what to do. It was great. And then he did Nico, and he did what other one did he do?
John's gone to Hilo.
John's gone to Hilo, yeah. So there's the same. He did two of the videos. Yeah.
But there's other people like Omar's done two as well.
Yeah.
And like we've got people who are into that photography, videography world that we call upon occasionally, but especially with how things are now in terms of self-promotion and Instagram and whatever, it doesn't make loads of sense spending loads of money on music videos necessarily.
Right.
So doing it DIY, especially when you've got someone like Stuart who's got such a creative mind with that stuff, it just makes a lot of sense to utilize that.
Yeah.
There's always been a big DIY momentum behind this band, though. Like not just the music videos, but everything we do. Like we've never had a manager, so we kind of we've got an agent, but we kind of deal with all the bookings ourselves. ever since really we were a busking band, that's how it started. We just went out busking on the streets of York, and then it was like, oh, if we had a CD, we could flog it and make a bit more money than just people tossing coins in the hat. So then we recorded the EP in a bedroom and made the artwork ourselves, or just got mates to help us here and there. So we've always worked like that in really all aspects of what we do. It's like and that's why it can feel quite punk in a way, what we do as well, like because of that kind of DIY approach.
Well, and I heard some of that in England Bound. Whenever he debuts a song for me, then I sit there and just stuff goes off in my brain, and then he asked me about it, and I try to put it into words, but because he's heard a lot of different influences that you all might not even know who they are, because some of them are American bands and not huge. But in England Bound in particular, I heard some Clash in it. It was like Clash meets Gogol Bordello. Are you all familiar with Gogol Bordello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Because I was like, oh, that's like the perfect combination of Gogol Bordello and the Clash, because you use a specific chord progression that the Clash used a lot, and that brings that little bit of melody in there. And is that punk tradition kind of lighting the fire under you a little bit, or
I think that's it. I think our attitude can be like that. Can be like, just like, we're doing this, so get on board or piss off. Like, and that can be our strength, but that can also be like, those guys. And, are they
like,
okay?
And like with that song, because I wrote a lot of the riffs for that one. But across that album, a lot of like what Stuart was referencing was kind of punk tracks, or a punk attitude was actually quite specifically something that Stuart was referencing when he was kind of imagining what the tracks might sound like.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of taking that into account when I was writing a lot of, the riffs on that track and some of the others. I mean, the way we write stuff, it all ends up a real mishmash of people's bits, but yeah.
But did you have the
It's
Clash in
interesting.
mind when you were putting some of the harmonic embellishments on things?
I don't know if we had the Clash in mind specifically, but I did. I mean, that period of punk I like a lot, and I mean, people ask us sometimes if we're influenced by specific bands. Like, people often mention Bellowhead or like Fairport Conventional, Steel Ice Band, but the truth is, really, I don't think as a band we take particular influences from other bands or other musicians, but as individuals we're all very interested in music, and like a really wide range of music, and so that kind of filters through us as individuals into the music, rather than us necessarily sitting down and as a five and having a conversation about who we want to sound like. It's very organic. And, obviously we've been together a long time as well. So our musical interests have really developed as we've been together as a band. The lineup's changed as well. So that brings in new influences. And I think, in a way, in the very early days, we were much more a straightforward folk rock idea. Like, it was folk songs with a kind of classic rock accompaniment. And as times have moved on, I think we've got, as a group, we've probably got a lot more interested in like funk and that kind of thing. And I think that you can hear that in the music. And then, individuals have brought other things that they're interested in to the band. So yeah, it's really organic in where the influences come from. And I don't think we'd even necessarily be able to identify them all listening back to the track.
It's much more instinctual, isn't it? And like when me and Ben joined the band in 2020, we'd seen the band as like audience members and things, and I particularly liaising with Laura when I first joined, it was much more of a vibe that you were cultivating rather than a specific influence or a specific this or a specific that. It was just, does this fit the Blackbeard's vibe? And if it does, yeah, let's carry on and follow down that path.
If I was asked to just, oh, go ahead, Laura.
I was just going to say that with the Gogol Bordello reference, yeah, we love that band. I've never seen them live. Dave has, and I'm very jealous. But I think probably because I'm into loads of different types of fiddle music. I love klezmer music. I love bit of gypsy jazz. You know, I've kind of dabbled with a lot of different fiddle styles because the fiddle is just such a fantastic versatile instrument. You can do anything of it on the violin. Like I'm in a pop band with my other band, you know, it just fits into every genre. I feel like it's such a great instrument. So I think a lot of the Gogol Bordello sound is probably the kind of gypsy influences that I have with my personal style. And as well with the rock influence, like for me personally, writing fiddle and guitar riffs, you know, I listen to a lot of Queens of the Stone Age. I love bands like that. I love Royal Blood, just big fat riff bands that I love, and I kind of very often will write a riff on a violin, my violin, and it sounds just almost like a guitar riff, and I'm like, oh, the guitarist can have that one, and I'll write something that'll fit around that. But as Stuart says, there's so many different influences, and we haven't mentioned Dave's influences. Dave's studied
loads of different
West
things.
African drumming and Cuban percussion in those countries, and so there's a lot of that in your playing, but possibly less so these days because Dave used to play djembe in the band, so that's kind of really changed our sound as well, the different percussion setup that we tend to have these days.
Yeah, you guys have evolved the drums quite a bit, right? It went from a mostly hand percussion stuff, cajons and djembes, to 2 drum sets, and from what I can tell, are you down to 1 drum set now? Is that the way it works today?
Yeah,
tell us more about how that evolved.
Well, I think that was from busking again, like because we had that really strong busking bass, and the band was like made like really early days. It was like 2 bands coming together. And nobody wanted to sack one of the drummers. So
we made it work for about 14 years, didn't we?
So like Liam's like my best friend, and you know, like we still play gigs together. So yeah, it was just making it work, and the best way to make that work on the street was with 1 instrument each, rather than taking a freaking massive drum kit out. And then after quite a few years, we went and got tiny drum kits and both played a small drum kit. And then Liam left and I bought a massive one.
So that small drum kit you wear in some of the videos, is that a real thing you play at, like when you're busking or at gigs?
No, so like that's with a. So, did you? So is that in the chicken? What's that? Where's that? That's the Fulford Arms thing. Playing this little.
I think it's in the chicken, but I think it's in the chicken video as well, isn't it?
We also watched I Am People.
Yeah, I Am People
England
was
Bound.
in it.
Yeah,
it was like a marching.
Okay.
It was like a marching drum.
But it's like a full setup. It's like everything
I'm
except
with
for the
you.
kit.
Yeah,
right?
I play.
All
Yeah. So I usually play that on stilts.
In a different band, I might add.
So that hasn't been brought out on a Blackbeard gig yet. But I usually play, and that's with Liam. So that's the other thing that we do, is we get on stilts and play drums together.
Of course, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? You've probably seen that kit quite a bit, because when we're filming videos, it's not practical to try and carry a drum kit around, or you know, for a lot of videos,
in
you've
that
got a mobile setup.
The idea of you doing that is that I Am People was like calling back to our busking roots, really, like playing in the street again. So yeah, that's why we did that. But yeah.
Somewhere I was reading, maybe it was the Wikipedia article where when you guys went to 2 drum sets, it was at that point that the traditional folk musicians, your peers in that world, I think you used the words, we're on the naughty step with other folk musicians.
I'm not sure about our peers, but I think definitely amongst the sound engineers of England. No, everybody was very accommodating, actually. Like, considering that we turn up and be like, yeah, we got 2 of them.
Yeah, we're a folk band, and we have 2 full drum sets.
Yeah.
They're used to throwing up a microphone for someone playing a little hand percussion, and you're like, okay, yeah, we got 2 drum kits.
Yeah.
We like to cause a scene.
Dylan going electric had nothing on you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I was telling Gary, and we've alluded to it here a couple times, but all of the bands that I hear influenced in your band, it's like if Woody Guthrie, and this is a very American take on it, but it's like if Woody Guthrie met the Squirrel Nut Zippers, met the Dropkick Murphys, met Gogol Bordello for a pint in Sheffield.
Yeah, sounds good to us.
I love it.
Does that work?
A glitter ball helmet and glittery outfits.
Yes.
Woody Guthrie was a big moment for me. Like, I got into Woody Guthrie when I was about 14, and like, I come from a folk family. My mum and dad are really into folk. But it had kind of always been a nuisance to me until that point. But then I discovered Woody Guthrie, and that was a big turning point in me really learning to embrace folk music in my life. So yeah, Woody Guthrie is a big touch point for me.
So y'all touched on it just then, and I'm gonna expound on that. Tell us about the helmet. Inquiring minds want to know about the helmet.
I'll tell you that in 2014 we played probably the biggest gig of our life, which was called Cropredy Folk Festival. Fairport's Cropredy Convention.
I had trouble pronouncing it too, just so you know. Okay.
Yeah, it's Fairport Conventions Festival, and we played to the biggest crowd we've ever played, which is 20,000 people, and it was filmed. And it was amazing. We loved the gig. It was this huge stage. We got this insane reception. People loved it. We still have people turning up to our gigs now that talk about how they first saw us at Cropredy and what an impact we made and all those sorts of things. It was filmed, and I decided to put the videos on YouTube, and I watched the videos, and I thought we all look like absolute shit. We all just wearing like really horrible t-shirts and like really nasty clothes. And I said that we should start like having coordinating what we wear. And at the time, we also had this big stage prop, which was our logo, which is the head of Blackbeard, which was made out of like steel, is it? Or what is
made
it?
out of 3mm steel. Yeah.
Holy shit!
So, and it's this huge structure. It's
huge.
What, like, is it like 8 feet, 10 feet, something like
Huge.
that?
Out of steel.
So then we
Cut it out.
and we build it and put it on the back of the stage when we have the space and the time. And so we decided, well, let's take that as our inspiration for what we wear, and we'll wear black and silver. So we began from that point on, or around that time, starting to wear black and silver, and then it just spirals really, because it's quite fun to just get on Temu or Vinted or whatever and just find like silver clothes. And when I saw the silver glitter ball crash helmet, I couldn't resist it really. So it usually comes out right at the end of the gig when things are getting quite frantic. And I do have a tendency to like throw myself around and fall over at that point.
I was wondering if that was doctor prescribed or not. But,
he has split his head
at
the end of a gig, and if he had the helmet on at the time, he'd be fine.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that was before you had the helmet, wasn't it?
No, I had the helmet. I just didn't have it on. But,
you should have worn it.
there's something to the story you just described, Stuart, because I've been going through your YouTube, and I mean, just there hasn't been enough time to watch everything, which is a great. I'm so thankful for that to be the problem I had. Right, was there's too much content out there for me to consume it all. But I definitely saw like thumbnails where it was just like you in a white T-shirt. I'm like, I'm gonna skip that one. Like, I'm gonna go to the one with the glitter ball helmet and see what's going on there. And so I think you were onto something when you thought, hey, we should look pretty coordinated and cool as opposed to just whatever.
Yeah, it's great, and you just feel great walking out on stage as a unit. And you know, when we recorded our album in that we released in 2022, Kick the Curb, I think probably because it came out of us all being locked down for COVID, it felt like a proper party album. And yeah, it's interesting talking about the influences, and kind of like, I wouldn't say that any one of us is particularly interested in glam rock, but somehow there's like a slight glam rock vibe to that album. So I've started describing us as folk rock glam pirates. So yeah, it's the silver sequins. The silver sequins combined with the dance moves, I think, just have this real glam energy, which I love. It's very us.
That's going in the title of the episode, folk rock glam pirates. I love it. I want to circle back on something and ask a question about the England Bound video. If a band in America did a song in which they had the American flag dragging it across the ground, doing the various things you're doing to it, to the Union Jack, there would be plenty of people that would be like, totally, you got the right to do that. It's America, free speech. You can do it. The matter doesn't matter what I think about it. But there would be enough people irate. It would be Fox News worthy. Like, it would be a major problem for a lot of people. Is that? Have you heard from those type of people in response to that video at all? Is that just not a thing? Does people not respond that way?
I don't think we're well known enough. So I think within our niche of folk, doing something which is anti-establishment is pretty well trodden and respected.
It's well established.
Well established. If I'm honest, part of what my thinking behind that video was like a bit of rage bait and try and get a few more views and a bit more engagement. It didn't really work.
So you were kind of hoping for that, is what you're saying.
I'll tell you what, on the way to film the video, I realized that I meant to have a Union Jack flag with me and had forgotten. So I just stopped at a supermarket, and the only thing I could find was a Union Jack picnic blanket. So that is a Union Jack picnic blanket that cost about £5, I think.
Yes. I saw the handle on it. I was like, what kind of flag is that?
An emergency purchase flag. That's what that was.
Yeah.
It's a portable flag. It's got a handle. It's a portable flag.
And very practical as well. We sat and had our lunch on it. So, you know.
We did.
On a little side note to that, we were on that tour, we were a bit concerned about playing that song because flag waving, you know, is so prevalent in the news at the moment, and it's a big, you know, it's been a big thing the past few years. And we did kind of find ourselves being a little bit nervous about singing that song, particularly in some venues, and we found ourselves kind of, oh, which city are we at there? Right, how conservative are they? How is this going to go down? You know, trying to second guess your audience. But you know, we realised that this is what we do. We can't.
You got to do it. Yeah,
we just got to do it. And I don't think too many people have walked out. There's definitely been one or two, but overall, it goes down really well. And you've got to say what you need to say as a band. So,
and it's hard to argue with any of the sentiments in the song, at least from my point of view. I'm sure somebody can find a reason to argue with it, but it hits all the right notes for me. So and it fucking rocks. It's a rocking song.
It does rock. I think I have people have said kind of like, oh, you've gone a bit political. I've heard a couple of people say that, which is like fair enough. But I suppose to me, it also feels really personal. Like it's in a way, England Bound is quite a personal song, and all the stuff that you could categorize as political on the We Are People album also feels quite personal to me as well. So, like, no music or nothing that you write exists in a political vacuum, does it? Like, I think unless you're just going to write love songs, which I know a lot of bands do, it's hard not to reflect on politics and not to reflect on the world that you live in. So yeah, I kind of bristle when people say it's just political, because I think it's personal as well.
So you have gotten some pushback on.
Only one or two.
Like, hey, stay in your lane,
Yeah, but also that music. I mean, that music got lots of people listening to us who'd never heard us before as well. So I think,
they're saying, hey, just stick to your traditional songs, which are also political.
I was going to say,
just don't understand it at this point so much.
Yeah. There's something to be said as well of that. There are some people out there that when they listen to a song, they listen to the lyrics, and there's a lot out there that are just enjoying the music and not really paying attention to what the lyrics are actually saying.
So you're sneaking it in on them.
And they can do both with your band. You have plenty of instrumentals for those people that just want to rock and not to think, right? But you also, for those people like us that we like to be provoked and into thought and to exercise that part of our brains, it's rewarding. There's gems in there that are great. I had no time to play all of the songs I wanted to play for Gary in part one. You go deep, you go poignant, you go like powerful stuff in there. And I just want anybody listening to or watching this show to know there's way more songs than I played earlier, and we have only scratched the surface. I'll be adding all of your songs to our playlist of all the songs from all the bands we feature on this show. And we're doing what we can to promote you guys. We're still a pretty small podcast. We've been doing this for about a year. And we tell this to each band, and here's us telling you this. Our goal is to treat you like the rock stars we think you will be someday, and should be, because that's the kind of music you're making. It's inspirational for us. And if each of the bands we feature shares with their audience, hey, here's a place you can go to learn more about us, right? If you share our episode out to your fans, then they'll not only learn more about you, but they'll discover the other bands we have featured. If they want to know more about White Noise or Geese or any of the other bands we have featured, and they're doing the same thing, and to a varying degree. So you guys have a really nice social media presence. So anything you can do to promote this not only helps you, helps us, but helps the bands that are on this show. The whole lot of them, right? And we call that the rising tide that floats all the boats, which seems more on the nose with you guys than it does with any of these other bands.
Perfect.
And I want to finish it up with, I think, unless Gary has something, I want to finish it up with one last question, and I'm going to give it to Patty, since Patty, you haven't had the chance to say as much during this interview, so this is you.
Well, he is the bass player,
right?
Oh dear.
What's on?
I'm just stood at the back.
What's on the horizon? Tell us about new music. When should we? It's been 2 years since the last album came out. When's the next one coming out? What's the songwriting going on now? Tell us about how that's working for you.
Well, it's very much in the early stages, but we are working towards the next project and the next album, and we're trying not to leave it too long between releases. Just keeps momentum going. But yeah, it's exciting. It's really exciting. There's perhaps a bit more of a concept to the next one again. So it's following along that line.
So where all the songs are sort of stringed together to tell a bigger story?
Less so that. I guess, to be fair, it'd be more equivalent to say Reprobates, where that album, all the songs were kind of about people doing naughty things or having done naughty things.
Naughty things.
And will it be, are you thinking, maybe it's too early to even know, will it be mostly originals or a healthy mix like previous albums or what?
Oh, yeah, it's a bit, it's still pretty early. It's very early stages, but we're still starting to filter a little bit now. Look at the options, but yeah.
Nice. Gary, any follow, final question?
Well, just our final thing, that the wrap up that we always do. Was there anything that we missed that you guys wanted to be able to get out to the public, to your fans, to our fans, to whoever is going to be watching this? Anything that you would like to say about anything that we missed?
I think it was really nice. Really nice interview. Yeah. Like often we get asked questions and it's just like, oh, not this again.
Oh, the regular batch. Yeah.
It's really nice to have an open-ended conversation that we've had. Like, it's lovely.
And it's nice to have someone deep diving into our stuff. And although we are quite niche, we're a band no one's ever heard of, or we're not widely known. But the people that do like us and come to our gigs time after time are just they love it. And that's the great thing about being in quite a niche controversial band, sometimes controversial band, is that your fans are your fans. You're not beige, you're not forgettable.
Right.
People who love it, and we have some fantastically wild, dedicated, enthusiastic fans who, it's lovely recognizing people at gigs, time after time, and it's just so nice, and it's worth keeping going for those people that just stand and beam at our gigs or
singing along to the
songs, commenting on the posts that we put out and things like that. Like that's a really humbling part of being a smaller band, is that you have this really tight, fantastic fan base that feels very personal, because you do talk to them at gigs. We're not just hiding behind backstage most of the time and not meeting.
It's the best part of touring, really, is seeing people who've seen us all through the years, and because we've been going for a long time, so people have seen us 10 years ago or 15 years ago, or saw us when they were 10
and then
now like 25.
Wow.
No, Jesus, I'm old. But seeing those people meant.
I told you guys we would be doing this for about an hour, but I've literally just thought of 3 more things that I would love to talk to you about if you have the time. One of them we alluded to before Stuart was able to join us that we need to circle back on. We're going to save that one for last. So first, I went to your website. I saw your merch. I saw that I could order vinyl. I could order CDs. I could order pieces of drums, cymbals. Have you had merch orders from America? If I place an order, is it going to be any problem with you guys shipping it to me?
Oh, we can ship it. We can ship it to you if you place an order.
Excellent.
We got a very funny email from a couple in France, and they emailed the band's bank account, the email account, saying, so you played at our wedding 10 years ago. We've just ordered a vinyl, but we live in France now, and I don't think you've put enough postage on to cover the postage costs from UK to France. And I said, no, we absolutely haven't thought about that at all, but just it's fine, it'll be fine. And then our friends who live in near San Francisco, they ordered a vinyl, and I think it cost about as much to post it to them as it did the money we made. So
we'll happily do it.
But we are happy to do it and take the hit. Good.
Be looking for an order from me. It'll come in sometime in the next few days. You mentioned you were jealous of somebody that saw Gogol Bordello. I've only seen them 3 times here in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I'm kind of bummed I don't have time to go see them. They're touring now, but they're not coming back to my town. All right, 2 more. You mentioned we talked about getting into Scotland. I went to Scotland for the first time ever last year for Fringe. I'm coming back this year. I'll be there for 3 weeks for like 1.5 weeks of Fringe. And are you guys thinking that Fringe is something a way into Scotland? Which I mean, it can also be a way into much bigger than just Scotland, right? Because the Fringe Festival is, people come from all over the world to see that stuff, and that's how I found White Noise. Is the Fringe Festival on your radar at all?
It's something that we've talked about. We have talked about on and off for quite a few years, I think. But the practicalities of getting there for a long time, we just haven't managed to figure it out.
I think a lot of bands spend a lot of money being able to play at that festival. So I think it's quite expensive to go there, to stay there, to try and be seen. And there's just so much there. It's quite quite tricky, quite busy. We wouldn't not do it if we got the chance. We know of it. We just haven't kind of seriously considered doing it ever. But never say never.
Yeah.
All of that is completely reasonable why you wouldn't do it. 'Cause I can only imagine you got 5 people. Where do you stay? Where do you keep your stuff? Where do you play? Travel, all of that. Yeah, it's a monumental expense, and maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's not. You don't know till it's over. And I was mainly asking for selfish reasons so that it would be easy for me to come see you guys play.
He just wants to see you guys live.
I definitely want to come see your
Might as
show.
well just invite them over to Charlottesville. I think that might be
That
cheaper
one, let's
for
do
them.
that.
Yeah, let's do that one.
All right, I think we can finish up here. You mentioned earlier, before we actually got going with this, that the band's name, Blackbeard's Tea Party, has an interesting story, and let's wrap this thing up with that. How did Blackbeard's Tea Party became named as such?
I mean, don't put words in my mouth. I don't think I said interesting story. I said we get asked it a lot, and there is a story to it. But, in short, we were busking. We started to need a name because people wanted to book us for things, so we needed a name. We locked ourselves in a pub, and we didn't let ourselves out of that pub until we had a band name, and we came out of the pub several pints later with that name. But the obviously the Blackbeard comes with the sea shanty. We do a lot of sea shanties in our set, so there's that. There's that association, and I think Tea Party, there was kind of it's not the kind of political statement. It's very English. It's we're talking about cups of tea and cake, which is what we like in England. But I think there's kind of 2 things that came. The reasons why the Tea Party element came, and I think one of them was, I kind of almost saw it as a collective noun for the very strange instrumentation in those very early days of the band, because in those busking days of the band, our previous bass player was playing a sousaphone, and Dave was playing djembe,
cajon, sousaphone, acoustic guitar,
occasionally the odd trombone here and there. So it's a very, very strange mix of instruments in there. So we kind of thought of the Tea Party bit as a collective noun for the strange collective of instruments we'd found ourselves with. And then the other kind of angle on it was, what's Blackbeard's least likely to be doing with his time? Probably having a cup of tea with Kay, which is, what was kind of bunch of recent graduates. Why we finding ourselves in this context, kind of on a street corner busking for a living. So I guess there's those kind of 2 angles, and then obviously the word party. It is a party coming to one of our gigs, so it kind of fit really well for lots of different reasons. And we've considered renaming ourselves over the years because it's a stupid name, and I don't think people take us seriously.
No, that was one of the most perfectly descriptive names that we've had on the show. He asked me first off, and my first thing was Pirate Rock, and I nailed it.
Sweet.
Nice.
Thank you all so much for giving us over an hour of your time answering all of our questions. It sounds like we might have hit the mark with asking questions you haven't been asked before. I'm very proud of that we do this on this show. I hope you feel like the rock stars I think of you as, and I hope I get to see you guys play live sometime. Laura, David, Stuart, Patty, on behalf of the missing guitar player Benjamin, thank you so much for being here and being a part of our show.
Oh,
Thanks so
very
much
much.
for having us.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
it's
guys.
Been a lot of fun.
Hey, guys.
It's just us now, Patty.
Just us.
Now tell us what you really wanted
Okay,
to say.
yeah. Tell us what you really want to think about.
Yeah, now I'll really dig in. It's really been a lot of fun, guys. Thanks.
Thank you very much for being here.
Have a good
Thanks,
rest
man. We
of your
really
day.
appreciate it.
What was that, Patty? I didn't hear you.
I'll just have a good rest of your day.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank y'all for listening. This has been an episode of Bands You've Never Heard Of, and it is a production of Ranch Hand Records. That's at ranchhandrecords.com.
Fine Ho, or Band You've Never Heard Of, is hosted by us, Gary Hawthorne, and me, J.R. Stoffel.
It is written by JR and then reacted to in real time by me.
Almost all of the songs on today's show were used with permission from the band Blackbeard's Tea Party, and there's a few traditional folk songs mixed in there too.
And then check out blackbeardsteaparty.com. That's blackbeardsteaparty.com. And the links are in the show notes and will be on our website.
And as this episode goes out, I will be adding all of their albums' worths of songs to the official Bands You've Never Heard Of complete playlist on Spotify. So one-stop shopping for every song from every band we've ever featured on this show. Go check it out, follow it,
about
share it.
2.5 days on that now.
Yeah, we're getting up there pretty quick because this is a lot of songs from this band.
If you're just listening to us and not actually watching the whole thing, which you really should, get us on youtube.com/@BindHopod.
You can also email us if you have questions for us. If you want to comment on the show, ask us questions, suggest a band for future episodes, that sort of thing, you can do that just by simply emailing us at bynhopod@gmail.com. BYNHOPOD.
And all that, plus merch, you could actually support us to keep us doing what we're doing here and bringing the higher tide to float all boats at bynhopod.com. That's BYNHOPOD.com. For JR, I'm Gary.
And for Gary, I'm JR. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, we look forward to talking to you next time. Let us know what you think.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's done. What's next?